The final cut is a masterpiece, but the first draft is a war zone. This is between the frames. You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris. The dialogue, the attitude, the violence. Pulp Fiction immediately felt like a cultural earthquake, but what audiences remember just as vividly is its structure. A story told out of order where hitmen discuss burgers before a hit, a boxer flees with a gold watch, and a mysterious briefcase glows. That structure, now copied endlessly, wasn't born on the page. It was born in the editing room, where editor Sally Menke took Quentin Tarantino's largely chronological script and shattered it into pieces, then reassembled it into a puzzle that redefined modern storytelling. So how does an editor become a co-author of a classic? And why does the way we tell a story sometimes matter more than the story itself? Believe it or not, Tarantino's original 1993 script was mostly linear. It began with Vincent and Jules retrieving the briefcase, then moved to Butch's story, then to Vincent taking Mia out, her overdose, the cleanup, the diner robbery, and finally Jules's spiritual departure. It was sharp, it was talky, and it was violent, but it was straightforward. The first assembly edit, cut in that order, felt, well, conventional. Sally Menke, who had been Tarantino's trusted editor since his debut with Reservoir Dogs, saw this and suggested an experiment. She asked, "What if we break time?" She proposed starting and ending the film with the diner robbery, a scene originally stuck in the middle. This would create a circular narrative, a loop. She also had a brilliant idea for Vincent Vega. She suggested placing Mia Wallace's overdose * before * Vincent's death in the timeline, so the audience would form a deeper connection with him before he is so abruptly and unceremoniously killed by Butch. Tarantino loved the idea, and they dove into what he famously called the jigsaw phase, turning a conventional crime story into a postmodern masterpiece. The pivotal mechanism was this editorial reordering, all done for emotional and thematic impact. Let's break down how it worked. First, the diner bookends. By placing the robbery at the start, the film kicks off with this tense, intimate conflict. Then, it spirals out into the wider, interconnected world of the story, only to return right back to that same diner at the very end. It creates this incredibly satisfying, fateful loop. It feels like destiny. Then there's the mystery of the briefcase. In the script, the contents were hinted at more explicitly. It was Menke who suggested they never show it, never explain it. Its golden glow, its immense value, became a perfect MacGuffin, a plot device that everyone is chasing, but its actual nature is irrelevant. The audience projects their own ideas onto it, making it far more powerful than any tangible object could ever be. It's not what's in the briefcase that matters. It's what everyone is willing to do to get it. But the most powerful change was reordering Vincent's story. Chronologically, Vincent dies before he ever takes Mia out and revives her from her overdose. By flipping it, we see Vincent at his most vulnerable and, arguably, heroic. He saves a life. He's a cool customer under pressure. We like him. We root for him. And then, later in the film, but earlier in the timeline, we see him casually and brutally killed. This decision deepens the irony and the randomness of the film's universe. It tells us that in this world, death can come for anyone, anytime, no matter how cool they are. And it didn't stop there. Remember that incredible monologue by Christopher Walken about Butch's father's watch? Originally, that scene appeared much earlier in the script. Menke moved it to right before the gold watch becomes the central object of Butch's entire storyline. The reason he goes back to his apartment and confronts Vincent, placing it there, tightens the emotional stakes to an almost unbearable degree. Suddenly, it's not just a watch. It's a legacy, it's sacrifice, it's a story passed down through generations. Now we understand why he'd risk everything for it. This structural edit didn't just rearrange scenes, it fundamentally created new meaning. The circular structure perfectly echoed the film's core themes of fate, chance, and redemption. Characters intersect unknowingly, their paths crossing in ways that seal their destinies. Violence begets more violence, and yet, some people, like Jules, get a moment of clarity and manage to walk away clean. The non-linear format also had a profound effect on the viewer. It forced the audience to become detectives, to actively piece the story together in their minds. It wasn't a passive viewing experience. It was an interactive puzzle. You had to pay attention, you had to connect the dots. The cultural impact was immediate and immense. Pulp Fiction's structure became its signature, inspiring a massive wave of non-linear storytelling in the late 90s and 2000s. Films like Memento, The Usual Suspects, and Go All owe a debt to the groundwork laid by this movie. And critically, it elevated the role of the editor. Sally Menke's contribution proved she wasn't just a technician cutting footage. She was a narrative architect, a co-author. Her legendary partnership with Tarantino became one of the most important director-editor relationships in modern film history. The unsung insight here is that Menke understood a fundamental truth, emotion isn't, just in the performance it's in the sequence. Asterisk when asterisk you see something matters just as much as asterisk what asterisk you see. So, what's the legacy we can take from this? The principle is simple but revolutionary. Structure asterisk is asterisk story. Pulp Fiction proved, once and for all, that asterisk how asterisk you tell a story can be just as innovative and impactful as the story itself. For any creators out there, whether you're in film, writing, marketing, or even software design, the lesson is profound. Don't just focus on the content, experiment with the container. Sometimes just rearranging the pieces reveals a pattern that is far more powerful and beautiful than the sum of its parts. The most memorable experiences are often the ones that ask us, the audience, to connect the dots ourselves. What other films, books, or projects do you think were completely transformed by a structural innovation? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and do you forget to subscribe to Between the Frames for more deep dives into the art of storytelling.